You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, cause you're headed to the Nightwatch zone.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. Tonight's the night. We're going back into Battleworld. Wow. The Supernatural Smackdown continues. Coriander's with me, Kill, and Eric as always. And man, this is gonna be an interesting one, man. We're starting a little. It's almost like a little bit of a rivalry here within the supernatural horror community. You know what I'm saying? And seeing who's the beast. Who's the top of the top, right? Real quick.
Cream of the crop.
The cream rises.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, it does.
I'm telling you, man. You remember when he was holding the little cup of cream?
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny. Oh my God. That was one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my life.
If ever I'm bored, I will just go down a rabbit hole of Randy Savage YouTube, like interviews and stuff, man.
Yes. Oh my God. He was a genius, man. Real quick to you guys in the chat, a blanket hello, and we see you guys. We got Denisha. What's going on? Good to see you, Denisha. Hope you're doing well. Ronan's in the house. What's up, Ronan?
Hey.
Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Katie. Hey, what's going on, Katie? Good to see
Hello.
you.
Hey.
We got Kay and we got Brandon. What's going on, guys? Good to see
Nice.
you. Glad you guys made it. We had it set for the wrong day, and thankfully Eric did a double check. It was like, hey man, we're supposed to be tonight, Tuesday night, not a Thursday night. So anyways, good looking out, man. Good
Well,
looking out,
I think
man.
it's because you don't really want to do what we're doing on Thursday. That's what it is.
Look, man, you okay. So anyways, tonight's going to be really, really interesting. So
Oh, it's
okay.
So break it up.
Oh, sorry about that. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start with one of our first contestants, Coriander. Who do we have in the first corner?
Okay, well, Knight, when you deal with the Amity House and you start having visions of a scary ass nun, and add to the fact that you go to London to help a single mom and her kids battle a crooked man and a ghost named Bill, and you still have that damn nun following you around, right? So we have the Warrens from the Conjuring Part 2.
All right. Okay, Eric. Who do we have in the other corner tonight?
Well, we've all seen the Money Pit, so we know what it's like. You know, bad things can happen when you move into a new house, and this family really finds out the hard way. They're trying to save their comatose son from a dimension known as the Further. We have the Lambert family, but we also have someone or something else. You know, it's got a love for causing pain to others, as well as affinity to listen to Tiny Tim songs while sharpening its long claws. It's known as many things, but tonight, from the Further, we also have the Red-Faced Demon from Insidious.
All right, man. We're gonna be tiptoeing through the tulips, Kill. And what do you think? This is gonna be a tough one, bro.
Man, look, I think Patrick Wilson is just collecting all the checks. And and man, like the Conjuring is just like, look, we cleaned up last week. I think we're gonna come back with part 2, and who can take us out? So I don't know. It's gonna be a good one.
Right. You know, and the other thing about this too, man, is like we have Patrick Wilson versus Patrick Wilson, but we also have James Wan versus James Wan. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy stuff, man. But only on Battleworld. Speaking of that, Kill, do you hear something? I hear the steps. And it's not Tiny Tim either.
No, he's not walking through the tulips.
No, he's not, man. All right, for you guys in the chat, sit back, relax, and here we go into Battleworld.
Very nice.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Kill, what do you think, man? You see what I was doing in that? You see the symmetry going on there?
I saw a lot of symmetry. Yes,
Right.
yes, indeed.
All right. It's gonna be tough, man. I mean, look, when you have to face yourself, that's kind of like that's really messed up. But also, you got multiple entities, multiple forces that are going against each other in these two movies. So it's really, really crazy. All right. So you guys know how we do this thing. We're gonna go category by category, giving a point to the film that we think wins. For you guys in the chat, definitely follow along. Let us know what you think about these two movies. This should be a really, really interesting matchup. If you do a super chat, you do get a chance to add points. The dollar will count as the point. So if you did a $5 super chat, that's 5 points to the movie that you would like to see win. All right, man. Let's get ready to do this thing. I'm really, really interested. Eric, as always, we got to start with our first category, and that, of course, is the poster. Okay, the poster. So give me your quick take and which point you're going to give to.
It might be. They're both kind of generic, but I think I'm going to give the point to Insidious because that at least gets me more interested. You know, I want to know why does this kid look so creepy? Why is he in the shadows? The Conjuring 2 poster, honestly, it just looks kind of like any type of exorcism, air quotes, random exorcism movie you would see on like Netflix or something. So going with Insidious.
All right. Okay. All right. How about you, Kill?
Can I see the Conjuring 2 one again?
Yep.
So, you know, I agree with everything Eric said, but I'm going to go with the Conjuring 2 one. And the reasoning for it is I'm seeing the upside down crosses, and it's different crosses. That's a lot of different crosses that some entity has been like, not on my watch, and turning them upside down. And this poor little girl is in her pajamas, which it looks like to me, and she's looking at something. Like, look at her eyes. She's looking at something that is scaring the living crap out of her. So I'm gonna have to go with the Conjuring 2 on this one.
Okay. All right. How about you, Coriander?
Can you put the other one up again?
You guys. Yes, there we are.
And then put the other one up. All right. So because they're very similar, right? And I think Insidious is just a little too dark for me. I like how you got the bright red and the big white lettering, and you know, like Killian said, you know, this chick looks like, she's dealing with something that I wouldn't want to be dealing with. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with Conjuring.
Okay. And real quick too, just to get to the chat here. Castar is in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Kay is going with Insidious. We got Ronan going with Insidious. Brandon as well. Julie's in the chat. What's going on, Julie? And by the way, if you guys have not hit the like button, please do. It helps to support the stream and get it out to other people to watch. She said she's seen all of the movies from both of these series. All right.
Oh, wow.
Cool. D's in the chat. What's going on? And Surf is in the chat saying hello, everyone. New watcher. Welcome.
Hey, welcome to the channel.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So for me, this one is obviously when we do these matchups, usually there's a good reason for it as far as some similarities to the two combatants, right? So both of these posters are also very similar, like you were saying earlier, Eric. And I think that for me, I got to go with Insidious on this one because before I even see the movie, both of them have, young kids that look like, something's going on, right?
Mhm.
But I just think that the way that Dalton is in shadows, I think the darkness actually works for the poster because I'm thinking to myself, why is he like that? And plus the way Insidious is written in a vertical fashion, it looks really, really, it just looks a little different. It looks more interesting to me than The Conjuring 2. So I'm actually going to go with Insidious on this one. All right. Now, next up, Eric, as always, we've got to talk about the taglines for these movies, the tagline for The Conjuring. So let me read this so you guys can hear it. The one for The Conjuring 2 is the next true story from the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay, so that's for The Conjuring 2. Then for Insidious, the tagline is, it's not the house that's haunted.
Oh, that's easy street for me. We're going Insidious because it's just, don't get me wrong. I love, I love the Warrens, but the fact that it's just the next case, the next, adventure, whatever it was with the Warrens, that's really, really generic. And I like the idea of the mystery of what the tagline for Insidious has. So this one was really easy for me.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very cool. D's going with Insidious. Danielle's in the chat. What's going on, Danielle? Good to see you. Let's see. And we got Sarah's in the chat. She's got an anniversary for being a channel member.
Wow.
Very cool. Our good friend Sarah saying popping in to say hello. I hope everyone is doing well. A 7-month anniversary. Wow. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. And Sarah, obviously, jumping on panels and joining in for a lot of our, watch parties and so forth, and also helping us with different activities. So thank you so much for everything you do, Sarah. We really appreciate it.
She's good at making the games that we play.
She is, man. And I always think of that one thing that she said. It sticks in my head all the time. She's like, I do love a good PowerPoint. It's like she's really good at it. She is.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, all right. So, Kill, what about you? What are we gonna do for the tagline point?
Man, I thought I had heard the worst one before with the whole "they saved the best for last." To just say, "Hey, it's another mission from the Scooby-Doo gang." Like, really, that's the tagline. This is super easy street. I'm going for Insidious. It's scary. It makes me interested, and it's ominous. So yeah, Insidious.
That's true. That's a good point. And Sarah says, I do love a good PowerPoint. I love it. Oh man. Ronan's going with Insidious. Brandon is going with Insidious. All right. And D as well. And also, we have a new member. D became a channel member.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Very cool.
Very, very cool. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Welcome to the membership family. We do a lot of cool stuff and hangouts.
Welcome to the zone.
Well, that's one way to put it. Yeah. A lot of times it's weekly. We do a lot of stuff weekly. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for the support. It really, really helps us so much to do streams like this every single week. And let's play something that means a lot to all of us. And this one's for you, D. Here we go.
Oh shit, man. Charlie, where the fuck you been at, man? Don't you know we've been looking all over this motherfucker for you?
There it is. There it is. Yes. Why'd you sigh, Eric?
Yeah, welcome to the zone.
Welcome to the zone.
I always need my fix.
Yeah.
There's more where that came from.
There it is, and here's some more.
Come on, Sal. Tigers are playing. 2 9. Never miss a game.
You never miss a game.
Okay, you've
Never,
redeemed
ever.
yourself, Knight.
Thank you. D, thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining the family. And wow, this is awesome. D also gifted a membership. That is
Wow.
awesome, man.
That is
Wow.
cool.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Seriously. And it looks like it went to K. Wow. Very, very cool. Awesome stuff, man. You guys not only so supportive of the channel and this wonderful community, but also supportive of each other, man. It's really, really cool. We appreciate it.
That's
It helps
awesome.
us so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. And look at Ronan. Ronan's ready for another clip. Maybe we'll see if we get any other super chat clips. You never know. Guns. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to this thing.
Yes, please.
Coriander, you love it. Coriander, which
Do
tagline are you picking?
You know, y'all are ragging on friggin' I can't even think of it.
Conjuring 2?
Yes. But you
So
know, no, I'm not saying that's what I'm going with, but I'm saying that that's not bad. Just, you know, I've heard worse. But
yeah,
I mean, and also, what do you need? You know, if you've seen that first movie, that was terrifying. And the fact that they're saying, you know, it's not an adventure or Scooby-Doo, you know, these are facts of, you know, people actually dealing with demons and shit. Just saying. Okay.
Just tell us a
but I am
little
going
bit
with
more
Insidious.
what we're dealing with.
Yeah, like if you've never
But
seen
you
the
don't
first
need
Conjuring,
it, you know. Well, then you're screwed. You know, you'd think this tagline sucks. So there you go.
All right, so who are you going with?
I just said it, Insidious.
Okay.
After all that.
All right.
I had to defend it.
All right. Well, listen, here's the thing. Let's just remember, both we 9.9 times out of 10 we enjoy both of the movies that are, you know, going against each other. So that's already out there. By the way, D is giving us the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Seriously, so much appreciated. I mean, you've literally just done so much tonight already. That's awesome. For me, when we talk about taglines, again, I'm going to echo some of the things that you guys said, or like Eric said, you know, when you say the next true story from the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's, you know, it's cool, but it's kind of, it's just there, right? But when I hear the Insidious tagline saying it's not the house that's haunted, I remember the first time I saw Insidious, and again, we try to grade these movies by these movies only, not what came before or what comes after. So when I first saw Insidious and I looked at the cover of the movie, of the DVD, I was like, wow, that it just struck me. So I got to go with Insidious on that. I think it's very ominous and it intrigues me. It goes right with the poster too. It's like a good 1-2 punch in my opinion. So all right, let's move on to our next category. Eric, we're going to talk about the opening. You know, we always got to do that, brother. Whether it's the first couple minutes, 5 minutes, up to maybe even 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the movie. So what's your quick take on that? And who are you giving the point to?
This is another easy street for me. They're both good. But one is obviously better. I'm going with The Conjuring 2. With Insidious, we're kind of getting to know the family, you know what I mean? Which is what you want to do. You know, when a kid is possessed or however you want to say it, you want to get to know the family. But this starts right, you know, if I didn't know what was going on, you know what I mean? Because this is just another true story of their files and all that stuff. We're right there in the Amityville horror. And we're seeing Lorraine kind of recreate what you know, the crime that happened. Yeah, the crime that happened.
Was so cool.
And the
well, it was tragic, but it looked cool.
Yeah, but and what the way that James Wan did it with her holding the invisible shotgun, and then we see what Ronnie did. I mean, I was hooked right then and there. You know, even if I know that it's going to be like a ghost in England or whatever, but if I didn't know and they're already in Amityville, I want to know, is that what they're doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, all right. So we're going with The Conjuring 2. Okay, Kill. How about you?
This is also easy street for me. Conjuring 2. For all the reasons Eric said, but also just for me personally, I love mirror scares. And when you could do an intelligent kind of mirror scare where I know what's gonna happen, but you still get me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with I don't know, 7-foot nun, demon nun. Like, yeah, that's scary and that's good, and that's a great way to start the movie.
All right. All right. So we're going with The Conjuring 2. Coriander, how about you?
Yeah, I agree, with Conjuring 2. I enjoyed that scene in Amityville, and it was crazy to see like Lorraine, getting that shotgun ready, and she just did so good with not having a gun to hold. And yeah, I just thought that was it's a great opening. So
Okay,
Conjuring.
all right. We got Kay's going with Insidious, Brandon going with Insidious, giving credit to The Bride in Black, and Judy saying The Conjuring 2 for sure. Now, I think both openings were really, really good and had ominous moments. And, again, this is James Wan versus James Wan. So you can see the elements that are at play here, even though he did Insidious in 2010 and he didn't even do the first Conjuring until 2013. Conjuring 2 was 2016. But you can see the through lines. That being said, I absolutely agree. This has to go to The Conjuring 2 because there was so many more things going on. And plus being a nod to the Amityville horror. And I was telling Coriander when we were watching it, not only was it a great nod, but they got a lot of little details that were part of what was said to have happened. Like some of the quotes, like when she said to Ed, "This is the closest I ever want to get to hell." That was something that was made very famous. If you look back and check out documentaries and stuff like that, that's something that Lorraine actually said in real life to Ed. That part where she saw the little boy with the eyes, there was this picture that was taken during the Amityville investigation where it was an image of what they thought could have been a ghost. It was never verified, but it looked just like that little boy with the eyes, the way they showed him peeking around the corner. Just little things like that. As someone who has followed, the Amityville case and knows a little bit about it, I was really impressed with how The Conjuring 2 put those elements in there so that, it could really be as, close to authentic as possible. Plus, like you guys said, Lorraine going through the killings, which were so brutal, and seeing Ronnie DeFeo in the reflection of the mirror, it was just so artistic. There's no doubt that I had to go with The Conjuring 2 on this one.
One thing I want to say this. It is graphic. We do see kids being murdered and stuff like. But it's not just graphic for the sake of being graphic. You know what I mean? We said it before. James Wan, he does less is more. He still gets you shocked and disgusted and sad, but it's not. Right. I hate saying that. It's not kids getting blown up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you get the point, but you don't have to see it.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Like he does things in all of his movies, and especially these movies we've been talking about recently. They're done like tastefully, there's an artistic flair to it where it goes there, but it doesn't, it's not gross,
Not the Terrifier stuff.
Yes, exactly. Good point. Very good point. And May Ann's in the chat. What's going on? Saying hello. What's going on? Yeah. Brandon also saying less is more, in my opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt about that at all. Okay, guys, let's go to our next category. Eric, we're going to talk about the music in the films. What do you think, bro?
And like I always say, is how it's used.
Yeah.
Both are used real well. One is more subtle than the other, but I'm actually going to go with Insidious this time. The Conjuring 2, it's really, the music is really pumped up at the end. It's really, really good. But honestly, just the Insidious is full of nothing but jump scares that work for me. And I think those loud strings every time something's happening or something, I think that's perfect for this type of film. So I got to go with Insidious.
All right. Okay. How about you, Kill?
I couldn't agree more. Even from the opening lettering, when you see Insidious, it's like this. It's loud, it's intrusive, and it's scary, and it just fits it so perfectly. So yeah, Insidious.
Okay, all right. How about you, Coriander?
I agree. Also, the creep factor's there. Not that it's not there in The Conjuring, but I just think they bring it more in Insidious. So yeah.
All right. Okay. For me, I gotta say the exact same thing. This is funny, man. I knew this was gonna happen. We're like literally ping-ponging back and forth on these
Mhm.
movies. This is awesome stuff. But I agree with everything you guys said. And just to add to that, when I saw Insidious, it was so creepy. Like it was like a chilling type of feeling with the music. And like you said, Kill, the strings that and it's all throughout the movie. Those little, I call them stings. You know, they're kind of like
Mhm.
the old school John Carpenter stings. You know what I'm talking about in his
Mhm.
movies? That's what it felt like. But it was James Wan. You know what I'm saying? Like it was different. It had James Wan's flavor to it all throughout the film. Creepy, even Tiptoe through the Tulips, man, creepy ass version of that damn song. And who would have thought? I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, like they just had everything turned on its side to just creep you the hell out. So I got to go with Insidious on this one. I will give The Conjuring 2 credit. It has great moments. And I know I was talking to Coriander. I love that little melody theme that they play for Ed and Lorraine. I love it. They played it in the first one. It's
Mhm.
something that goes throughout their movies. And it's basically kind of like a sign of their love and their teamwork and belief in themselves. I absolutely love that melody, but it's not enough to overtake all the great musical moments in Insidious. So I'm going with Insidious. Okay, real quick before we get to our next category, we got Nightfall in the house. What's up, Nightfall? Good to see you.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. Surf, you're absolutely right. The Insidious music sends chills down the back.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Brandon also saying the violins really add to the atmosphere. No doubt at all. And we've got Val in the house. The general is in the house
Awesome.
Hey.
with a channel member anniversary, and this is absolutely phenomenal, guys.
Yeah.
Val has been a channel member for 15 months,
Yay.
bro. That's just
Mhm.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
To even put that into, processing is just crazy, Val. But thank you so much for everything you do. Obviously, so much and helping out with being a mod, and it's just absolutely
Yeah.
so amazing. And such a good friend as well, always looking out for us,
Yep.
and it's really appreciated. It really,
Mhm.
really is. And she says The Conjuring 2 wins hands down one of the best from the Conjuring series. She's putting her stamp out there, letting us know.
Mhm.
Thank you, Val. We really
Nice.
appreciate you, seriously. And
Yes, we do.
happy channel anniversary. And you know what? Speaking of which,
Yeah.
because of the fact that it is an anniversary, let's play something for Val, because 15 months is a long time, guys. Let's play a couple clips for Val. Here we go.
When you find yourself at 1 a.m. in the morning with your hand in the air and a horse's ass in front of your face, that's when you know it's bad. Fuck! Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? It's over! You motherfucker!
That's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard.
There it is. There it is. Good old Lance.
It gets me every
All right.
time.
It does. Thank you so much, Val. We really appreciate you. Seriously. Much love.
Mhm.
And let's see. Julie saying Insidious made me physically sweat during the break-in scene. Yeah, that was a
Wow.
very good scene. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's so true. Tiny Tim will always and forever make me think of Insidious.
Mhm.
Yes. It is so true. Oh my God. Val's they love it. Well, that's it. That's right. I love that clip, man. All right, guys. So let's go to our next category, Eric. We're going to be talking about the story. Which story do you want to give the point to? This is where it starts to get a little interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a sucker for like interdimensional stories. You know what I mean? Like Insidious. But I'm also a sucker for the based on a true story stuff too. And the reason why I'm going to give it to The Conjuring 2 is because what I really like is there's also the certain scenes of like if they're trying to find out if it is a hoax or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ed isn't
Right.
always 100% sure. You know, he thinks a
Mhm.
lot of it's fake. You know, that scene where you find out the girl's really doing the bending of the spoons and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
liked that little bit added to it. Like is it really fake? Is it not? Because again, I'd only seen this once before last night, and I didn't remember how the movie ended, honestly. But that's what's going to push The Conjuring over Insidious for me. It's just that little is it fake, isn't fake type of thing. Because the first Conjuring movie started, where Lorraine says, we're called bullshit artists, phony stuff like that too. So I kind of like that little nod.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well said, man. Well said. How about you, Kill?
I love a haunting story, and especially when you can change it around, and instead of it being a house that's being haunted, it's your kid or your family themselves. But with that being said, I still have to go with The Conjuring, because not only do you pretty much kind of still have that, you also have the fact that it's based on a true story, and you have Ed and Lorraine also dealing with their demons as far as this nun that has it out for them, and to the fact that they've even seen omens of their impending doom. But yet they're still propelled to help this family. So you have a lot of extra things that James is working into this story that makes it a little bit more complex for me. So Conjuring 2.
Okay, all right. How about you, Coriander?
Oh yeah, I'm the same. You both hit it right on the points with it being true. You've got the nun to deal with, along with this girl who's being possessed by Bill, who's being used by this crooked man, or whatever he is. So
Well,
yeah,
because Bill, when you said the girl being possessed by Bill,
well,
and Bill's
Bill,
being possessed by
the
Valak,
crooked
and
man.
yeah,
Yeah, so
that was a
it's
good
like,
twist too.
yeah, so it's like, it's crazy. And the fact that it's based on a true story, I mean, come on, man. How can this not win? So yeah.
well,
Dude, come
me
on. Come
give
on.
my viewpoint on this.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I
red
think that,
demon's scary. And
yeah,
he's
well,
ooh.
no, I'm
But
not talking
no,
about what's
come on.
scary. I'm talking about story. Let me just say this. Now, I agree that the true story is definitely, and we've talked about this, like even in the first matchup with The Conjuring. I think the true story aspect is cool, but there are some liberties that are taken. So I think that for me, this is tough.
Dude,
Before I tell
you don't
you
even
who I'm
like
going to give the
walking
point
in the
to,
woods. You know what I'm saying? If you
Here
were
we
going
go
in
again.
in a real haunted forest and you heard something or saw something, you'd be gone.
of
So
course I
don't
would.
tell
I'm smart.
me exactly. So the fact that
So
these
what do you
people are dealing
say?
with something that's like demonic and geez, come on, dude.
Well,
Come
both
on.
families are dealing with demonic stuff.
Yeah, but one is just, in fantasy land in someone's make-believe head. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you mean because it's not a true story, right? Yeah, but it's based. Look, I mean, demons. Well, if you believe it, demons or ghosts are real.
If
So
you
in that
don't
sense, all of these
believe,
things,
that's
yeah,
too bad,
right.
honestly.
But
But that's
let me
just
get my
my
point.
opinion.
Let me get my point. The
Yeah.
point.
You get your point out, hun. I'm
But
sorry.
He's
with
trying.
Insidious, I'm trying, man. With Insidious, I thought what was really good about Insidious is that, like Kill said, you're turning this thing on its head with the whole idea, because they moved out of the house. When I first saw this movie, I was thinking, okay, that was the smartest thing they could have done, and they did it like halfway through the movie. But then you realize that it was the son that was haunted. I thought that was such a good twist. And then it went even further than that, pun intended. And you're talking about this purgatory dimension. And that was really interesting too. The Conjuring 2, I think, did a lot of really cool things that were different than the first film, which is really difficult to do. And like you said, Eric, showing them they're investigating, going all through the process and debunking and all of that. It was just a lot going on in The Conjuring 2. So I'm going to give my point to The Conjuring 2 just by a little bit. And I think one of the biggest reasons that I'm going to give it to The Conjuring 2 is because of the fact that they showed levels of the investigation where they were, ready to debunk things. You had this whole situation where Valak was targeting Ed, and that was kind of like another emotional weight to the film that I think, it just was a little bit more powerful than Insidious, just by a little bit. So I'm gonna go with The Conjuring for story. Real quick too, in the chat, let me catch up to the chat because they've been going while we've been going back and forth. Brandon is going with The Conjuring 2. Nightfall's going with Insidious. Kay is going with The Conjuring 2. And hey, we got Strange Monkeys in the house. What's
Monkey.
up, man? Saying Insidious wins, flawless victory. All right. Julie is making a really interesting point. I think The Conjuring 2 had too much going on. James Wan was introducing too many spin-off characters, the nun, the crooked man, but I still think The Conjuring 2 had the better story. Okay. All right. We got Ties in the chat going with Insidious. And Julie saying the final 5 minutes of Insidious, though, so good. Absolutely. No doubt about that. And also, for you guys that are just jumping in, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. And if you'd like to become a member of the channel, hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and you can join us for exclusive watch parties, hangouts, content, and more perks. Okay, so let's move to our next category, Eric. We're going to be talking about the supporting characters. Okay, so these are the characters.
Okay.
Except for Josh and Renee from Insidious, and of course, Ed and Lorraine from The Conjuring 2. So we're talking about everyone else in both movies.
Okay.
Which one are you going to go with?
No Josh and Renee, no Ed and Lorraine.
So for The Conjuring, you have, the mother and the family. You've got the couple people that were kind of there a little bit with the investigation, and obviously for Insidious, you have Elise, Barbara Hershey's character, Specs, Tucker, all those guys.
Okay, I got one question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's going to be a category. Does that include the demons? Does this category?
No, I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Okay. I'm definitely going with The Conjuring 2. The reason why is, as much as I love Lynn Shay and I love Specs, and I think the other guy's name is Tucker, they're great together. That's all I really remember other than the grandmother character. You know what I mean? If we're talking supporting characters. The family in The Conjuring 2 is so good together. I love the kids, especially the daughter who's dealing with being possessed. I love the mom so much. I think she gives a fantastic performance. And I like the investigators that are there to either prove it or debunk it. You know what I mean? I think they did a really good job. So very easy for me, Conjuring 2.
Okay. Wow. All right. How about you, Kill?
This is not easy because for me, I agree with everything Eric said. I love the family in Conjuring 2. But I love me some Lynn Shay, man.
Me too. That's what made it so tough.
And I love her team, man. And even though it's only like those three, I'm going Insidious on this one, because when I think of Lynn Shay, I think of that figure that comes in like Zelda in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I think of that warm woman who knows what you're going through, and she's there for you, and she's
motherly.
She's motherly, and she just can feel all the evil around you, and she is there to guide you through this darkness. I love the supporting cast in Insidious. So this is hard, but yeah, I got to go with Insidious.
All right. Okay. How about you, Coriander?
It's hard. It is. Are the couples involved?
No. Ed and Lorraine is not involved, and Josh and Renee are not involved.
All right. Oh shit. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to do The Conjuring also. There you go.
Wow. Okay. What's your reasoning for it?
Oh man. Because Lynn Shay, she was good, her goons, they had their moments.
Her goons.
God. The disrespect of Lewa now. Co-creator of Saw.
Her hired goons.
So there you go. Okay. That's why.
All right. Let me get to it. Okay. So listen, this, I don't want to say that it's not easy, but in a way for me it is. Like, I think, okay, with Insidious, obviously, and we talked about this when we watched it, Barbara Hershey, it's a small role that she has, but I thought she was magnificent in the moments that she did have, very, very good weight to the story because it's about Josh's background. And of course, Barbara Hershey is royalty anyways. I mean, The Entity, if you've never seen that movie, watch that. But Lynn Shay is the godmother of horror. Okay.
Yeah.
That's who she is. And then you got Lee Winnell coming in as Specs, who he was so good, but Tucker is like that MVP off the bench. Then you got The Conjuring 2, which I think that the people that are helping with the investigations, like the guy who played Morris, he was pretty okay. Then you had that other lady that was kind of like, a skeptic, she was all right, but she didn't really do much. The mother was really good. I think she had some really good scenes, although I don't think that she was a better character overall versus like Lily Taylor in the original Conjuring. So family wise, I don't think this family was as strong as the original movie, but we're just talking about this one. But Janet was the MVP because, again, when you're a child going through a possession, a haunting or something like that, there's so much weight on you. Janet was amazing. But she's not Lynn Shay, okay? Lynn Shay alone.
I knew it.
Lynn Shay alone. What'd you say, Kill?
I knew it.
Yeah, you did. Hey, look, Strange Monkey already knows what's going on. Lynn Shay's team is undefeated. Listen, guys, let me just say this. And you got to listen. And you guys already made your points, and they're good points. But Lynn Shay, that last 30 minutes of the film, or maybe it was 35 or 40 minutes of the film, when she comes in and she's explaining the further and she's giving all of that information. And then, of course, when they're doing the seance and then, leading Josh through the further and all of that type of stuff. This was like you said, Kill, this was Zelda level stuff, higher than that, to be honest. And that's that's no disrespect to Tangina from Poltergeist. But Lynn Shay was a G in this movie. I mean, it was amazing. So I got to give this point to Insidious. There's no doubt at all, man.
Oh, don't get me wrong, man. It was tough voting against Lynn for me. I've loved her since, Critters, back in '86, and I've loved her ever since. But it was tough voting against her.
Yeah. Real quick in the chat, Brandon saying Insidious. I love Specs, Tucker, and Elise. There you go. Ty saying Specs and Elise easy. Let's see. Julie saying, this is hard because Lynn Shay is worth 10 side characters. You're preaching.
Exactly.
Kay's going with Insidious. Let's see. Surf saying not easy at all. Yeah, okay. Ty saying The Conjuring 2 has too many characters for me. That is a good point. There were a lot of characters that I don't think they got enough moments. You know what I mean? It can be an advantage, but sometimes it can also make you say, well, I wish I had seen a little bit more like some of the other kids, a little bit more, Ty saying, I think that the supporting characters in Insidious were more impactful to the plot. I agree with that. Yeah. And let's see real quick. Nightfall saying this is really hard. No, and Lorraine makes it harder for me. I have to say Insidious for that reason. Okay. Brandon speaking the truth says, bro, Lynn Shay got her own Insidious prequel. She's mega popular. No doubt. No doubt.
I got a question. I've only seen the first two. Is she in all, what is it, four or five of them?
Well, let me answer this because let me answer it. Just watch them.
Okay.
Yeah, you really should.
All right.
Just watch them.
They're good.
Just watch them. Yeah, they are. They really, really are, man. No doubt about it. Okay. Next up, let's go to our next category. And we are going to be talking, Eric, about the acting. Okay. The overall acting. What do you think, bro?
Okay. Overall acting. Oh. Damn it. I'm gonna go with The Conjuring 2 because I think Patrick Wilson's a little better in this. Like if it's him versus him, I think he's better in Conjuring 2. You got Vera as Lorraine. She, the only one that would give her any challenge would be Lynn Shay, in my opinion. She's fantastic. Again, the girl who played Janet, I thought was really, really good with what she had to do. I liked Rose Byrne, don't get me wrong, in Insidious. Patrick Wilson, I thought, was pretty good, but he's a lot better in The Conjuring 2. Plus, there is that chemistry he has with Vera. You know, that will, if you have good chemistry with an actor, it brings out the best in you. So I think that also helps it as well.
Okay. All right. How about you, Kill?
This is hard for me because you have Patrick that is a victim in one movie,
yes,
essentially.
Yes,
and then you have Patrick that's like, you know, the sheriff coming in to help people.
Yep, exactly.
Rose Byrne is so good in Insidious.
Thank you.
You know, when I think of the acting in Insidious, it's her and Lynn Shay, and their chemistry. To me, you know, woman to woman, you know, mother to mother, going through this, the further, all this, and so forth. And I agree with what Eric said. You know, Patrick is great. It's just that in this first Insidious movie, they didn't really give him too much to do. But with that being said, I'm still going to go with The Conjuring because the chemistry between, you know, Ed and Lorraine, and then also when you have a child that can pull off possession well, you know, and it bring you into it. And then also the nun is just scary as hell. There's not a lot of verbal acting that's done, but it's a lot of body language and just a lot of just nightmare fuel there. So with all that being said, I'm going to go with Conjuring 2.
All right. Okay. How about you, Coriander?
Oh, geez. Yeah. You know, I kind of like, I'm going to have to go with The Conjuring on this one. I really like Ed and Lorraine together. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't say I'm sorry. I do that.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, I just like their whole relationship, and the love for each other is, you know, it's something special, and these guys give it off so well. And, you know, I don't know. I just think they're just so good. And, you know, Rose, I don't know. You know, she had her moments where I was scratching my head like, huh. But, you know, so yeah. Anyway, Conjuring.
Wow. Okay. For me, I think this is really challenging, man, because I think there was a lot of great moments in both of these movies. And, you know, obviously, when we talk about The Conjuring, obviously these movies are about the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And fortunately for these movies, they have two great actors that have great chemistry. But, you know, that's not the only acting, you know, in that movie, you know. And like I said, I think that there's a lot of characters in there that don't get as much time that they should, other than Janet, because she's the focal point. And I think she was really the MVP. But when I think about Insidious, you know, here's the thing. These two movies, I think that Patrick Wilson has more weight in the sense that they're either about him or he's the victim, a prime victim. You know what I mean? And I think that's why these two movies matched up is really interesting. Like you said, Kill, in one movie, he is actually, you know, kind of like, you know, pro. And in the other movie, he's being victimized. He doesn't even know it. And also that's why he's such a withdrawn person, because he was meant to forget. That's why he's acting like that. So in that sense, he's doing a great acting job. That being said, that doesn't always get the flowers. But I think Rose Byrne was really good in this movie. I mean, she had moments where she was flipped out of her mind. I mean, she was getting attacked by these demons, these ghosts, these entities, plus trying to care for her family because Josh was withdrawn and absentee and stuff like that. That being said, again, you go to Lynn Shay, magnificent. I think a lot of credit has to also be given to Lee Wanell, you know, as Specs, and also Tucker. I think that they did some great stuff too. Again, you know, they're in the last 40 minutes of the film, so it's not like they just popped by and just waved, hey, hi, and then left. They were a focal point in the second half of the movie. That being said, I got to give the point to The Conjuring 2, because when you think about Ed and Lorraine and Janet, especially as a child actor, that just has so much weight for me that I have to give that young actress so much credit because she was so good.
You picked
She
a perfect
really
picture
was.
for her right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like once she, became pseudo demonic or whatever, I was just like, uh-oh, this is really bad, And the reason I felt that way is because she was so good as a kid, going down that dark path. If she didn't do a good job doing that, by the time she got demonic like she is in this image, I'd have been like, yeah, same old thing, and not giving a shit. So again, that's a credit to her acting. All right, real quick before we get to our next category, this is getting really good. For you guys in the chat, keep letting us know what you think. Val's going with The Conjuring 2. Kay says it's a tie for me. If only we could do a tie, man. We can't. Brandon's going with The Conjuring 2. Let's see. Nightfall's going with The Conjuring 2. All right. Let's see. Julie saying the chemistry between Vera and Patrick is unmatched, like you guys said in the Conjuring 1 stream. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt. Julie said the sideburns really brings out the performance in him. I love that.
It helped him sing
indeed.
Elvis.
And you know what? It's funny you said that because that was a scene where James Wan was convinced to do this film, to come back and direct it because of the fact that Patrick Wilson can play the guitar and can sing, and he asked him, could you do this scene where you're basically doing an Elvis rendition? And Patrick's like, I love to play the guitar and sing. And because it was such a sweet moment, James Wan was basically like, yeah, this is what I got to do. I got to direct this film. This is going to be a good one. So, and it is a great scene.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, it is a great scene. Carrie's in the house. What's up?
Carrie.
Good to see you, Carrie. Saying these franchises are both amazing. Absolutely. No doubt. Carrie, that's right. And she says, I have to say Conjuring 2 because it's like it's already been said. The chemistry between Wilson and Farmiga are just amazing. Very true. No doubt about that. Okay, guys, next category. You knew this had to happen sooner or later. And for you guys in the chat, keep letting us know what you think. And if you feel strongly about one movie versus the other, send in a super chat to get points on the board. But we're going to talk about Wan versus Wan. Director versus director. The first time we've ever had this happen. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Eric, which film do you think he did a better job with?
I wasn't sure if you were going to do this because we always do the director versus director thing.
Yeah.
And I love James. He's one of my favorite directors. I'm going with Insidious. And here's why. We've already said it many times, tonight and then also last week. He's really good at less is more. As much as I love The Conjuring 2, I think the way he uses colors is better in Insidious. The red. I love the scene when you're in the further and it is complete darkness except for Patrick Wilson and son. Some of the cameras, just the random camera shots. I love when Elise is walking into the bedroom and the camera for some reason is it's out of the ceiling, but we still have to look through the ceiling fan. You know what I mean? As it's going, or just like the creativity with that. And then again, the use of the strings to help, with the intensity. I got to say, I think he did a better job with his choices in Insidious.
All right. Okay. How about you, Kill?
This is hard because both movies have certain things that I would grade. In Conjuring 2, it's a period piece. It's not easy to do period pieces and make it convincing and sell it. It's a period piece. It also takes place in Britain, and you're also dealing with child actors. When I look at Insidious, it's a modern kind of, storyline. You're dealing with child actors. You're also dealing with something that Conjuring doesn't really have, comedy. Essentially Lin Shaye's team. So the way I'm looking at it is one is definitely funnier than the other, but the other one is a period piece and also it's a movie that takes place abroad. But I'm going to go with Insidious because it predates The Conjuring 2, just like Eric, I love the coloring. I love the red because anytime I saw red, I knew, okay, we're in the further, there's danger. It's just great coloring and also great use of shadow, like the bride in black. It just works. And on top of that, directing, Rose and Lynn and Tucker Specs, and of course Patrick and the kids. Yeah, I got to go for Insidious on this one.
Okay, all right. Coriander, how about you?
So, geez. It's tough because, I just love how he always multitasks in his movies, and I think he does them so well in the Conjuring movies, with tackling, some people think, oh, it was too much, but I don't, I thought it was, I'm gonna have to go Conjuring. So yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. For me, I think this is really difficult because and you guys said it really well. He's doing a lot of different things, and both movies have certain aspects that you don't necessarily see in the other one, and that's not a knock on the one that doesn't have it, but it's just, it's just certain things. With The Conjuring 2, I think he was able to build, upon this universe, these two characters studying their case files. And I think there were a lot of great things going on, great camera work. I think that the way that he handled the scenes with the entities was really good. But he does that in all of his movies, so that's kind of par for the course, right? In Insidious, I think the thing that I enjoyed about Insidious was the creep factor was it seemed like it just kept getting more and more and more. It's like walking upstairs, right? And one thing that you guys said that was really interesting, the coloring. I think the coloring was so interesting because now you have this other dimension that you're exploring. And not only is it another dimension, okay, that's cool, another dimension, blah, 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 blah. But the way that it was explained, shout out again to the godmother of horror, Lynn Shay, and then going into it and dealing with it. Like when I first saw this movie, I was like, wow, this is some creative ass shit. And we've seen these types of movies forever, but somehow he was able to make it still seem fresh. So I got to give the point to Insidious, man, because I just think that he was able to do something so well that we've seen done before, whether you talk about Poltergeist or Amityville or any of the movies that came before Insidious in 2010. So, but both are masterful. Both are masterful. Okay, real quick, back to the chat before we move on to our next category. Hale's in the chat. What's going on? Saying sorry I'm late. No problem at all. And by the way, if you guys just jumped in, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. Also, if you have social media, share this out, guys. We have this set up for the wrong night, so that's my fault, but we got it situated. So let people know that we are live. Let's see. Julie's saying going to go with Insidious because of the nice blending of comedy and terror and the uniqueness. Yeah, that's a good point. And Kill, that was a good point that you made too. The elements of comedy, that's not easy to do in horror.
No.
As a matter of fact, you're almost setting yourself up for failure. And he was able to do it well. So good point. Jerry's in the chat. What's up, Jerry? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Battleworld. All right. And let's see. Danielle saying Juan versus Juan. I got this one. Juan. Okay, right. Brandon saying the My House scare, and when Bill possesses Janet in the background is blurred. Brilliant setup. That was a great scene, man. We were talking about that when we watched it, how the transformation right in front of us, but it was blurred from Janet to Bill and then back from Bill to Janet. That was a great scene. And again, this is what he does in his movies, guys. That's why I think that these movies are so special. These are movies that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I think they're going to be looked at very, very highly, just like we look back at things like The Shining and Poltergeist and stuff like that, guys, Julie saying, I agree about the coloring in Insidious. I really like the undersaturation, the fog, the lighting, the setup of the scares. Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt.
One thing I want to say while we're still talking about James Wan is, a lot of people kind of crap on jump scares. A lot of people think they're cheap, they're easy. Not if they're done well. And I'll tell you what, James Wan he's the type of guy that can still get me with jump scares, even if I've seen the movie 2-3 times, because he's that good with the tension. And it's like, it's coming, it's coming, and boom, you're preparing, and it still gets you. That shows talent.
Yes, that's a good point. I agree, because I think that jump scares, they're good, because sometimes you want to, they're fun. You want to get boom, a quick little scare, and that's fun. But you don't want to have a bunch of those type of cheap, quote unquote, cheap jump scares. And the thing that James Wan does with his jump scares, they're set up, they're executed the right way. Like there's something going on right before it and something that's going on right after it. And there's meaning to it. Like it's not just I'm walking down the hall and just all of a sudden a spider falls on me. It's like it's actually part of something that's going on that makes sense. It's organic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, good point. Okay, next up, guys, let's go to our next category. This should be a fun one. The scarier threat. Okay, so what we're talking about is and now let me explain this, okay? So we can make sure we're all on the same page. So listen up.
I'm listening.
So in the Conjuring, we're talking about Valak, and we're talking about Bill, and we're talking about the Crooked Man, and what's going on with them versus the characters. In Insidious, we're talking about the Bride in Black. We're talking about the red-faced demon. We're talking about the entities that are also haunting Dalton and from the further. Okay. So that's what we're doing. So in other words, if you were in this movie, which is the scarier threat as far as those elements I just stated?
Okay, I wrote those down, and it's tough. I'm going to give it to Insidious, and here's why.
Okay. Don't
get me wrong, I liked Bill, but he was being played. You know what I mean? So that takes him out. Valak is Valak. You know what I mean? That'll make you want to change your pants after seeing her. You know what I mean? She is terrifying.
Right.
But the Bride in Insidious, just looking at her and the fact that she has been chasing Patrick Wilson for all this time. So she's determined. You know what I mean? And, spoilers, we're watching and we're talking about it. She wins. You know what I mean? The red-faced demon, I like to tease him, even though because he looks like Darth Maul to me. But when he is hooked to that wall and he is just chasing them, terrifying. And then since you brought up the other entities, the kids aren't necessarily dangerous, but they're creepy. But that one that first attacks Rose Byrne in the bedroom, I just call him like the big man because I don't know if he has a name. And then he's the one that attacks Patrick Wilson. Patrick defeats him, I guess you would say, in the further. Those are more terrifying as a group to me. So I'm going with Insidious.
Okay. All right. And Kill, before we get to you, real quick in the chat, we got Elm Street's Last Brat is in the house. What's up?
Love that name.
See it. Yeah, man. All right. So Kill, which one are you going to go with?
For me, this is a debate over quantity or quality. I agree with Eric. It's so many more threats in Insidious. But Valak is a demon that plays other spirits. And I also look at it as how afraid are the protagonists. When you have Lorraine Warren about to pee her pants, that's scary because she's seen some stuff. And this is tough for me, but I gotta go with The Conjuring too. Valak is, and just from that opening sequence, really, we were talking about, she or it just shows how big of a threat it really is, to the point where they're seeing omens of, I'm gonna kill your husband. You do realize that, right? You realize I'm ancient. You realize this is what I do. And as the movie progresses, we see how she is, or it is, controlling the other spirits. That's next level. So yeah, I got to go with Conjuring too.
All right. How about you, Coriander?
This is. I think I'm gonna go with the red demon
Oh, wow, okay.
because I mean that scene where he's like sharpening his claws and getting himself prepped and ready. I mean, if this thing had my child, holy shit. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, like not everybody saw The Nun. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, Insidious for me.
Yeah, that's a scene that makes me wonder what would he have done if Patrick didn't show up, because he's got the kid chained to the floor while he's sharpening his fingernails. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. For me, this is and again, and I think both sets of threats are really, really good, really well done. I could give a shout out to the Crooked Man, because that was those were some really cool scenes, especially the way they did his voice and he was saying the rhyme and it was all distorted and the Crooked Man, and that was some really cool stuff. Obviously Valak is an MVP, so that's cool. Bill had some great scenes, but kind of like what you said, Eric, he was basically being played. He was a puppet. Then when you talk about Insidious and talking about the red-faced demon, like he was just so intriguing, Darth Maul stuff aside, he was just really intriguing as well. What the fuck is he doing here? You know what I mean? But the MVP, man, to me, in the Insidious side of things, was the Bride in Black, man. I'm talking about some creepy ass shit. Like you said, she had a game plan, bro. She's been after Josh for 30 years. She hasn't forgotten. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't even include the dude that came into the bedroom with Renee. I mean, he was scary. The first time I saw that, how he's walking back and forth in front of the window, I was thinking, what the fuck is he doing? Pacing? He's on a cigarette break? What is he doing? But what he was doing was getting closer and closer to the camera as he walked back and forth. And then when he showed up in her room, the way it was done, that was just so cool. But here's the bottom line, guys. When you include the further, which was part of what the threats were, I mean, that's just some crazy stuff, man. You cannot alert these entities or shit's gonna go down. So to me, man, I definitely got to go with Insidious on this one, because it was just so many things that just had me like, whoa, I don't want to be dealing with this shit. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Insidious on this one. Real quick, let me just catch up to these guys and see what they got going on. D is going with Conjuring 2. All right. Let's see. Carrie says, wow, this is hard. It is. It truly is. It is. Julie saying, man, I want to say Conjuring 2, but the Bride in Black is nightmare fuel. Yeah.
I want to add one extra thing. Just the sheer fact that demon, to just add more salt to the wound, took the form of a nun and made a nun demonic. That's like extra shit talk. Let's just keep that in mind. At least the red-faced demon, he stayed true to form. I'm a demon, sharpening with claws.
Yeah, good point.
I'll say this, just to piggyback on that, I haven't seen The Nun yet. The first, that spinoff. Rewatching this Conjuring movie, because me and Rachel, we're slowly doing like the shared universe. This makes me want to watch The Nun like this weekend. You know what I mean? Because I want to know more about this creature.
Dude, I like The Nun.
Good point.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
Man. Yeah, we watched it together, and just go in and just watch it, man. Just go and watch it, and definitely let me know what you think when you do see it.
Absolutely. I might do that for like the Halloween stuff on the channel.
Yeah, I think you should, man. Danielle saying the scariest threat, the increasing cost to go to the theaters.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. No kidding. Don't remind me,
man. Carrie saying the nun scares me like no other, so I have to say Conjuring 2 because I just won't mess with her. Yeah, me neither. Ty is going with Insidious. Elm Street's Last Brat going with Insidious. The further is no joke, right? That's what I'm saying, man. You got a whole dimension of stuff going on, man. Yes. Brandon saying Valak was the puppet master, but those smiling twin girls in Insidious had me clinging for life when I first watched the film. That's right, man.
Those kids are scary, man, and they don't really do that much.
It was a lot of creepy people in the further, man, no doubt about it. And it's kind of a sad thing too when you think about it. That's a whole nother element that they brought with Insidious, which is why I thought story-wise I had to give it to them on that. Surf also going with Insidious, Kay going with Insidious. Hale is going with Conjuring 2. The Darth Maul demon can't hold Valak's chickstrap. Okay. Melissa's in the chat. Good to see you, saying Insidious. All right. And JT is in the house. What's up, JT? Good to see you, man.
Hey.
All right.
JT.
Just wanted to pop in and say, hey, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Okay, so let's get ready to move to our next category. It's getting kind of deep in here, man. So you knew we had to do this. So next up, Eric, we got to talk about Elise versus Lorraine. Okay, so here's how we're going to grade this.
Okay.
Which of these ladies, in dealing with their fight, which of them do you think did a better job as far as, alerting others to what's happening, the way that they did it, their methodology, and so forth, and had more weight in their battle? That's some of the things that I want you guys to think about.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Elise, and here's why. They're neither of them are afraid to get down and dirty. Neither of them are afraid to put their lives on the line. And when I explain it like this is not a knock on Lynn Shay. She's an older lady, you know what I mean? She has that age factor. Her body, I don't know how to describe it, without being disrespectful, but it's, I don't want to say more brittle, but you know what I mean? She's got the age factor. So she's taking a bigger chance health-wise, dealing with the demons, plural, you know what I mean? And when they're doing like that seance or whatever, where I hate, wearing that gas mask type of thing where she's communicating.
That's crazy.
At her age, still doing this, and you know what? She's not afraid. She knows what she's getting into, and she wants to help. No knock against Lorraine, but that whole thing that she's taking that bigger chance, in my opinion, with her age, I got to go with her.
All right. Okay. How about you, Kill?
I'm going with Insidious because Lynn Shay's character doesn't have an Ed with her. She has,
that's a good point.
She has Speck and Tucker, but they are not on that same level as an Ed. And Lynn Shay, just the way that she portrays her character, and like you were saying, Knight, how they affect the people they're helping. Her and Rose Byrne truly connected, and she just knew from the moment she stepped foot in that house, oh my God, there is a truly ominous present here, and she felt for them. And I still remember the scene where she's just like, talking to them like, you asked me to come here, and this is what I'm telling you, yada yada. And it's like, whoa. Now, that, not to say Lorraine didn't do that, but she still has Ed there to carry some of that load.
That's the best point.
Yeah.
So
this is more Ed's movie than Lorraine, in my opinion.
Yes, actually, yes.
Whereas the first Conjuring was flip-flopped. It was more Lorraine. Okay, good point.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Good point, man. Coriander, how about you?
Dang. This is like probably the worst ones we've done. At least for me.
What do you mean worse? You mean toughest?
Yeah, to choose and I think I am gonna go with Lorraine. There you go. Because she's dealing with real bullshit. So there you go.
So is Elise.
No.
What do you mean?
Elise is fictional.
Man, no.
Here we go.
Hold on. Let me back up. Let me say the question again. In this movie, not in real life, as far as the characters on the screen, I'm not talking
this
about
movie.
It
says it's based on factual events.
No. That's taking out
and
of
these
context.
People are based on factual people.
She made her decision.
Okay.
Pick your battles, my friend. Pick your battles.
All right. Okay. So this is to me, this is really challenging, but I think Kill, you said the best point to me is that I think that when you talk about Lorraine does have Ed. Ed is a big part, obviously, of these investigations because they are together. He is, the guy that's kind of, the church guy, the theology, he could do an exorcism. He also does a lot of the technical work where she's definitely more in the spiritual, trying to feel things out and go from there. But in this movie, she's not as prominent. This is definitely, in my opinion, this is definitely more of Ed's story as far as the weight that his character holds. Okay. Whereas in Insidious, you've got Elise. Yes, you do have Specs and you do have Tucker, but Elise is the G that comes in there and is basically telling you all that you need to know about this other dimension and all of these entities and parasites and so forth, and trying to, save this man who she helped as a child. That's the other thing too. She's coming back into this fight and knows exactly what's going on. So I got to give this one to Elise. And I think if this was Elise versus Lorraine from The Conjuring, the first movie, I would have flip-flopped because I think Lorraine was more prominent in the first Conjuring movie. But Kill, as soon as you said, that she's got Ed, that definitely helped me make my decision too, man. All right. Very, very cool. Real quick, in the chat, we've got Jamie is in the chat. What's going on?
Hey,
Saying
Jamie.
hello. Good to see you. All right. And let's see. We got Kay going with Lorraine. We got Carrie saying, "Oh my God, Specs and Tucker. I love those two." Right? Yeah. Melissa saying Lynn Shay is amazing in the Insidious movies. Yes. T's in the chat. What's going on? Saying, "I love both, but I'm going with Lorraine. She has a husband and a daughter, but still chooses to fight demons and help people." All right. Okay. Brandon saying, "I'd say Elise. She had this bride in black entity after her for years. She was scared to death to enter the further again." D is going with Elise. Nightfall is going with Elise, or I should say Insidious. All right. Very, very cool. Let's see. And we got Niels in the chat. What's up? Saying, "Oh my God, I'm late."
Hello.
Right? But welcome, man. Good to see you.
Neil and the
man.
Cats.
Neil and the Cats, bro. The score is close, bro. Like, I can't believe this has actually been really, really fun because we've almost kind of gone back and forth from category to category, weighing in on one side versus the other one. So definitely, if you feel like there's one that you really enjoy, or the Cats or whatever, definitely let us know.
It's been neat because it seems like every category they're canceling each other out.
They are.
They
are. This might be the and I didn't know if it would be, but this might be the closest matchup we've had. It's really, really crazy. Chris is in the chat saying, "What's up, guys? Going with Elise
Chris
here. Lynn Shay is my girl." There you go. Elm Street's Last Brat going with Elise. Yeah. There you go. Carrie saying there's really no win or lose for this because both are fantastic franchises. That's true too. But there's going to be a winner today on Battleworld, though. That's for sure. One way or the other. All right. Next category that we're going to go to, Eric.
Okay.
The best scene. What is the one best scene in either of these movies? Okay. Now, I'm not talking about 30 minutes worth of something.
Right.
I'm just talking about a specific scene, you know what I'm saying, that you enjoy the most. Which movie is it from?
Okay. I'm going with the first thing that popped into my mind. It was a scene from The Conjuring 2. Okay. And it's when Lorraine is walking around the office and the lights go out and she turns around and she sees that painting of the nun. And it gets closer and closer. And suddenly you see eyes glowing eyes and teeth. And then she flips the light on. It looks normal. Flips the light off. You see that fucking hand come around the side and it just goes after her. Again, that's the jump scare. I knew that painting was going to fucking chase her, man, but it still got me. And it's a great scene. So
it is. Yeah.
Going with Conjuring 2.
And Vera was so good in that. Vera sold that scene. That's why I had that as part of our intro, because the way she was looking and just the little facial stuff, she really sold that scene. Good call. How about you, Kill?
That one definitely came to my mind. Because I love that one. But I gotta go with Insidious here.
Okay.
And it's because goddamn you, Night. when the episode started today, it was the first scene you had where the red-faced demon is like, "What are we having for dinner?"
Peekaboo.
Barbara Hershey is just sitting there.
Yes.
They're having a conversation, broad daylight, beautiful dining room table.
Yes.
You turn to Patrick, and all of a sudden you see Mr. Happy behind him, like,
yes.
What's up? Like,
right.
no.
Yes. Yes.
So as much as I love the nun portrait scene, which is funny and scary, I got to go with Insidious just for that. Once again, a great jump scare that I never expected, but it still gets me to this day.
See, now that's the difference, is that you didn't expect that one.
I never
and I love both of those that you guys described, but of course with The Conjuring, you knew that Valak was going to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And don't get me wrong, I'm going to stick with my choice, but what Kelly made a great point. It happens during the daytime.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Broad daylight in the kitchen.
Broad daylight.
Yep. And also, I just want to say shout out to our good friend Monty G, the horror miser Monty G, because he picked that scene for when we did our huge event, the scariest moments in horror movies history. And that was the scene that he talked about. And such a great scene. And it truly is one of the best moments in horror, because the way it was set up, Barbara Hershey talking about her dream and talking about Dalton. And then, of course, you know, she's talking in the way that James Wan timed the scare. It was amazing. You never saw that coming. And that's what's so great about it.
And Barbara Hershey's acting, she's like, oh! Patrick's like, what's going on? What's wrong?
Yes, yes. I mean, it looks like it's literally inside of Patrick's head. The red-faced demon doesn't even look like it's really behind him. It looks like he's part of Patrick. And it's crazy, man. But all right, so Coriander, how about you? What's the best scene between these two movies to you?
You know, I like their Ed and Lorraine's little love scene, right, where they dance and they have their little cute moment. I'm picking that scene.
Okay, that at the end, you mean when she plays the music and then he that was a beautiful scene. Yeah, that's why I had that as part of our intro. Let me just and that was, I think that was really, that's the strength of the Conjuring films, in my opinion. It's just their bond, right? It's a beautiful thing in a horrific environment, you know, dealing with demons and all this type of stuff. It's like a shining light, a beacon of hope. And I think it's illustrated that way between the two of them. It's really, really it's fantastic. For me, this is really difficult, man, because I think there's a lot of great scenes in all of these movies. I even think to the scene with the red-faced demon, like you guys were talking about earlier, when he's getting a manicure and, you know, you see Dalton chained up and all that type of stuff. That was just really, really tough. But man, I'm telling you, I gotta go with the painting scene with Valak, because I just think the way it's done, like the strength of the Insidious shock scene, and of course these aren't the only two good scenes, and also the Ed and Lorraine scene at the end, that's a great one too. There's many, many more, but I'm just you know, like when Bill's like, my house, I love that. That's just, it got me the first time I watched it. I was like, oh shit, he's right. He doesn't even look like he's really behind that fucking TV. Where is he coming from? He's just coming out of nowhere. But anyways, the thing about the painting scene is, you know, it's about to happen, but you're trying to figure out how. And especially that scene where the shadow walks along the wall. I thought that was really cool. So it was just stretching out the tension. You're like, okay, what's going to happen here? You know, I kept thinking, is something going to happen from behind her? Maybe you didn't know. And it was just such a great scene. And again, Vera sold it so well. It was just magnificent. So I'm going to go with The Conjuring 2 on this one. Okay, real quick too in the chat. We got Retros in the house. What's going on? Saying y'all should do Terminator versus T2. Well, you never know. You never know. I can't say for sure, but you never know. Neil is saying, I've been sipping Kentucky bourbon since 4, so I probably shouldn't vote or say I'm sipping it at this point. Wow, man. All right. You're having a good night, bro.
Yeah,
right.
man.
Very, very cool. Ty also talking about the 2 jump scare scenes. They're really, really good, man. Carrie saying the best scene. Eric described it, because that scene still gives me chills. Yes, no doubt about it, man. Hale also a fan of the scene with Valak. Julie says Insidious when Elise takes the photo of Josh and it's a bright. That's a great scene as well, man. It's very, very cool. Chris also a fan of the painting scene of the nun. Yeah. Surf saying that's the 2 top scenes. They're really good, man. They're really, really good. Jamie, also a fan of Valak coming out of the painting. Yeah, man. It's a good one. Yep. Ty saying the bride in black stuff was creepy too at the end, her getting closer in the pictures. Yeah, just little things like that, right? Little things. Yeah. Okay. Next up, you knew this was going to happen. Patrick versus Patrick. So we've got him portraying Ed, and then of course we have him portraying Josh in Insidious. Which character, I should say, do you want to give the point to, Eric?
I'm going to give it to Josh in Insidious, and here's why. Because he's great as Ed Warren. He is really good. But having Vera there to play off of helps that. You know, the flirty scenes, the love stuff, and all that. There isn't that much of a relationship with him and Rose Byrne, in my opinion, in Insidious because of the way they're handling it. He's more withdrawn for his reasons, and Rose, she's in the shit. But what I like is he finally takes charge. He goes in the further to rescue his son. So that little bit of an arc is what gives it to Insidious for me.
Okay. All right. And real this guy. Oh man, he's all right. Neil is coming in, saving the stream single-handedly with a $25 super chat.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Neil. We appreciate that.
Is that the cats or the bourbon, my friend?
Yeah, right. He said the cats are voting for Insidious, and I'm being smart and staying out of it. Man, 25 points to Insidious. That is awesome. For you guys that are fans of The Conjuring 2, you might want to start pitching in as a team effort. Thank you so much, Neil. Seriously, we appreciate it. It definitely helps to support the channel, helps us to do streams like this every single week, week in and week out. You know what's going on, man. Thank you so much, man. We love you. And we love the cats, too. Okay. Kill, what do we got going on for Patrick versus Patrick?
This one's hard because I understand in Insidious he's purposely written to be a little withdrawn, right. And towards the end when he does go into the further, that's kind of his heroic moment of like taking charge of it. But I'm gonna go with his version of Ed in Conjuring 2. Because not only is he trying to figure out if this family is making this up, right? Are they making this up? And the way that he goes about it is he's still respectful up to them, even to the point when they are pretty much leaving. They're like, hey, look, if anything changes, let us know, yada yada. But it is what it is. And on top of that, being worried for the life of his wife. And these little kids, especially the young lady right there, and her being possessed. And on top of that, the greater threat of the nun. I just feel when you combine all of those aspects that his character has to deal with, and his team, and being in England and dealing with this family and this mother, this single mother, I like his portrayal of Ed in here stronger than his portrayal in Insidious. So.
All right. Okay, Coriander, how about you?
Well, I guess I'm going to give it to Patrick.
Oh, all right.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Okay. All right, mark that down, Knight.
Let's just take a moment where we just sit back and we just say, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You need like that trumpet noise from like The Price is Right, that sad trumpet noise.
Yeah.
That'll work too.
Yeah, sure.
Guns. All right.
Yeah, because he had to go just like, the mama in Poltergeist in another dimension and get her kid. And I mean, come on, I would do the same thing if this demon had my child. So, yeah, man, I'm going with Patrick.
In Insidious.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Help me out here, girl. I got a lot of things I'm juggling. All right. Okay, so for me, this is it is really tough, man, because you got a lot of things going on with both of these characters. I do agree with Coriander said, the fact that he is going into the further. Not only is he going into the further to save his son, but he's combating a lifelong fear, a lifelong trauma that he's dealt with. You got to remember, he was dealing with this as a kid. Barbara Hershey explained as a mom that he used to wake up in severe fits of terror all the time because he was doing the astral projecting and couldn't control it. So that's a scary thing right there, man. And of course, as Ed, you guys made a great point earlier, the fact that teaming up with Lorraine strengthens him as a character. That being said, I'm going to go with The Conjuring on this. And the reason I'm going to do it is I just think that, and of course, these are the way the characters were written, but I just think there were a lot of moments with Ed that were just really great character moments, man. I mean, and I know a lot of it is connected to his wife, but that's just how it is. It's his wife. They could have done that with Josh and Renee a bit more, and that wouldn't have been a bad or a good thing. It just is what it is. But I do love that scene, man, where he just pulled out the guitar and started singing and stuff like that. Like, and, helping around the house, fixing the sink, going downstairs to fix the flood and stuff. Like, he just had a lot of great moments with multiple characters in that film, showing how kind he was, as a person. So I got to go with Ed on this one. But I thought Josh was really, really good in his own way as well. All right. And Jamie is agreeing here, saying, I always trust a cat's opinion. And Neil saying, you're smarter than me. There you go. You got to love the cats, man. You got to love the cats.
Definitely.
Yeah. Elm Street's Last Brat is going with Patrick from Insidious as well. Okay. All right. Next up, as we get to our final categories, and again, if you guys are on the Conjuring side, you might want to weigh in.
Any other cats out there?
The cats definitely made a difference here. So the question is, which film is the more creative film between the two, Eric? So what's your quick take, and who are you going to give the point to?
This one's more easy for me. It's going to be Insidious because it's new material, so to speak. You know what I mean? The Conjuring, even though it takes liberties, it's still based on true events. James Wan and whoever he worked with, I don't know if Lee helped him with this or not. They started from scratch, basically. They had to create the idea of the further. They had to create the idea of the multiple demons that are terrorizing this family. So I just think there was more creativity put into that than with, you already have a template with The Conjuring 2, and then you can just add to it and subtract. I think the fact that Insidious, you start from zero is more creative.
All right. How about you, Kill?
See, this is easy street for me, but going towards The Conjuring. I think The Conjuring is more creative because, for one, you have Valak, which they could have just made Valak look like a demon, horns, tail, claw. No, you make it look like something that is cherished and honored and loved, a nun. Then you have the Crooked Man. Okay, he did his thing in there, and interesting design. Bill. Bill looks like all of the ghosts except for the red-faced demon in Insidious. There's nothing really creative. It's just a bunch of white makeup. They're all pale in the further. The only thing that is creative to me, I mean, the bride in black looks interesting, but she looks like just a woman with white makeup on in a black wedding outfit. Now, the red-faced demon, yes, he has a creative look, but he looks like a demon. He looks like a devil. Which that's scary, but that's been done. He looks like what we all think of as a devil. I have never seen anything like Valak, and that is terrifying. And that actress is a very tall woman, and they make her look like that. So. In totality, I got to give it to The Conjuring.
Okay. All right. How about you, Coriander?
Oh, yeah. I have to do Insidious because we all, this movie is, based on some facts here where he just pretty much made up this whole damn movie. So, yeah, I am going to go with Insidious.
Okay. All right. So you're going with Insidious over The Conjuring. Okay. For me, I definitely, I'm gonna go with Insidious as well because I think that just the whole idea of pivoting on the haunted house theme that we've seen many times before, making that a lot more creative, and we saw people that imitated it afterwards, obviously, but that was great. But the further alone, I mean, we're dealing with demons in both of these movies. We're dealing with possession of sorts in both of these movies. But the further, they literally showed you a purgatory dimension. Like, and that in and of itself was just so fantastic and very well realized on the screen, man. So I got to go with Insidious. I mean, the Conjuring 2 obviously had a lot of creative twists. And like you said, Kill, the look of Valak was amazing. The Crooked Man I thought was really, really cool. I still was really hoping that they were going to do something with him, but they didn't. But yeah, this one is edged out for me to Insidious. All right. And real quick, we've got a super chat coming in. All right. Julie's coming. Oh, that's funny. Julie's coming in with a $24 super chat. So instead of the 25, that's great. Saying, my ferrets said the Conjuring needed this.
Now it's a ball game again.
Wow. Dude, we're literally, wow.
Next week, it's the cats versus the ferrets on Battleworld.
That's right. There's no doubt about that. First of all, Julie, thank you so much for the super chat, though. Seriously, we really appreciate it. It definitely helps out a lot, helps us to continue to keep the lights on and so forth. But also, this really makes this, we're right back at square one in a way. So again, you guys, this is the time. We've got like just, I think, 3 or 4 categories left. But thank you so much, Julie. We got to play a little clip for you. We appreciate it so much. And here we go.
But listen up now. This is serious. When you're tempted to do something wrong, even if the reasons are good, think twice, because you never know how things will turn out. You might be getting yourself and everybody else into a whole lot of trouble. Do what's right, and you can't go wrong. Take it from me, Mr. T.
There it is. There it is. Thank you so much, Julie. We really appreciate the support. And speaking of which, before we go to our next couple categories and end this up, just want to give a quick thank you. We're going to play this for you guys, for all you guys that are the channel members and supporters and the Patreon members and stuff. We want to make sure that we take the time to highlight you guys more often and to give thanks and honor you guys so much, because it truly does make a difference in the content that we are able to put out and so forth every week. So this one's for all of you guys, to honor you guys. Here we go. A special thank you to all of our patrons and channel members for your amazing and generous support. Become a member today and get exclusive watch parties, monthly hangouts with us in the community, have a say in the content I produce on the channel, early access to videos, and more. Also, you'll be able to highlight yourself as a special supporter of the Nightwatch Zone during our weekly live streams, and also get exclusive emotes and badges to have even more fun. Hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and all links are also in the description below. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And yeah, no doubt about it. And Neil's making sure he's keeping Scariest, and the cats eat ferrets for breakfast. There we go. And Danielle said, I turned away for a minute and I missed Mr. T. Damn it. See, that's what I'm saying, man. You gotta, you never know what we're gonna do, man. But
I'm sure he'll be back.
I was just about to say, you might see him again, Danielle. We'll see. All right, so Eric, as we start to close this thing down, this is neck and neck. Our next category is the favorite character, your absolute favorite character from either of these two movies.
Elise. It's that easy.
Okay.
Hey, you know,
all right.
I'll just leave it at that. We've said plenty about her. Why?
Okay. All right. How about you, Kill?
Wow. He took the words out of my mouth. Lynn Shay, Elise, man.
All right.
She's amazing.
Coriander, how about you?
I'm a Lorraine fan.
All
so
right.
there you go.
Okay. This is challenging, to me, but when I think about the character that was my favorite, that just came in and just when I first saw either of these movies, and it just like stole my thunder, and I was just like, whoa, it's Elise, the godmother of horror, man. She just came in, and I was just like, who the fuck is this chick? Then I'm like, oh, that's the actress that was like the teacher in A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome to see her. And she just proved herself, like moment by moment, word by word, scene by scene. So I got to go with Elise as well.
That shows how great she is. Just look at everything she's done. She's done, bit part in Elm Street, but she's also done comedy like There's Something About Mary. And
That's
then she
right.
does this, which is nothing like that. So
yeah. Yep. Neil saying my mom's name is Vera, so I gotta go with Lorraine. All right.
Good boy.
Jamie saying Elise Lynn Shay is fantastic. Yes, she is. Ty is going with Elise. All right. Very, very cool. Brandon saying, can I pick Elise, Specs, and Tucker as a combo meal? There you go.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Okay, next up, Eric. Which is the better paranormal team? Okay. So this obviously, we're not talking about Josh and Renee, and we're not talking about Ed and Lorraine. Okay, we're talking about the supporting team that's helping in both of these movies.
So we're not talking about Ed and Lorraine. Okay.
No.
Well, then I gotta go with Elise, Tucker, and Specs. You know what I mean? Because they, plain and simple, they've had more experience. You know what I mean? They work better as a team. So
okay,
that one's pretty easy for me.
Kill. How about you?
Well, Ed and Lorraine are a paranormal team, but since we're not including,
but we're talking about the supporting team because of the fact that because with Insidious, Josh isn't really a part of the paranormal team, and neither is Lorraine. So that's Renee. So that's why I don't have Ed and Lorraine as part of this too. Talking more about, I should have put supporting, the better supporting paranormal team, but that's why I explained it in the beginning.
Yeah, then once again, I have to agree with Erica. I got to go with Specs, Tucker, and Elise.
All right. Okay. Coriander, how about you?
Ditto.
Okay. All right.
Don't question it. Move on.
Yeah, that was an easy speak when you put it like that. Yeah.
I guess so. Okay. And for me as well, there's no doubt that especially Tucker, man. Tucker was hilarious. The stuff that, he was so serious. Everything was so serious. I crafted all these myself, It's like talking about his equipment and stuff. It was great, man. It was great. Okay. So I'm also going with Insidious. Next up, the finale. The finale of the two films, Eric. Give me your quick take and who you're going with.
I'm going with Insidious because I love everything when we're in the further, whether it's the darkness, the stuff, getting Dylan away from Red-Faced Demon, and then that surprise ending. You know what I mean? The surprise ending with the bride, I guess she's called, and then we have that cliffhanger. We don't know if there's a sequel. What happens when she turns around and sees Josh? You know what I mean? No disrespect to The Conjuring, but I just think that there's more of an impact with everything that happens once he enters the further to credits rolling in Insidious.
Okay, all right. How about you, Kill?
I love it when the good guy loses. And essentially, I got to go with Insidious because that was a gut punch. You're thinking, oh, he did the further, he did everything. Oh, Patrick Wilson, you're awesome. And then to come to find out, oh, she got you. And she literally gets other people like, oh, damn. So, yeah, just for the gut punch factor, Insidious.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
Oh man. Can I flip a coin?
You can do whatever you want.
As long as we get an answer.
All right, Insidious.
Okay. All right. For me, I think both of these finales were really, really good because they had a lot going on. There was a lot of moments of terror, of action, kind of going back and forth and all of that. I'm going to go with The Conjuring 2 on this because the thing that I really enjoyed about it, and that's why I said I think this one was really kind of a little bit more of an Ed prominent type of movie because, he went into that house, knowing that he was alone. You know what I mean? Because the door was locked behind him. And, watching that scene, like I was really worried about him. When I first saw this movie, I was really, really wondering what's going to happen to Ed. And he's trying to save this little girl who he had formed a bond with,
Yeah.
And you do feel bad for her. So that's the other thing too. She was so good in her role. You want to have her saved. And then, of course, with Valak and him holding on to her outside of the window, and Lorraine kind of comes at the end and says Valak's name to help save him. It was just so much going on. So I loved Insidious as well, but I'm just saying the one with The Conjuring just had a little bit more of that energy and intensity. So I'm actually going to go with The Conjuring on this one. All right, guys. We're almost there. Neil was saying Insidious has the best finale for me and the cats. That's
what's important.
Yeah. Brandon saying Conjuring 2 finale, Insidious finale has a few minutes of where it felt like the movie stops. All right, that's a good point. Yeah, it was a slower burn, no doubt about that. I agree with that. Okay, next up, the red-faced demon versus Valak. Okay, which character are you going with, Eric? Which one do you gravitate towards more personally?
Valak. I'm a sucker for a female demon. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I find them scarier than a male demon. Don't get me wrong. Redface is scary when he's sharpening his claws and listening to Tiny Tim, and he's after a child. But Valak doesn't give a shit who you are. She will go after you no matter what. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no boundaries to her, as we've seen. So, gotta go with Valak.
I love it. Neil said Valak beats Darth Maul. Ty said Valak is more fleshed out and present. Carrie's in. I feel like Valak would rip Red-Faced Demon apart. There you go. All
now, the red-faced demon ain't no punk. That's the thing.
I was just about to say, man.
he ain't no punk.
He is no punk, man. I mean, he's the king of a dimension too, man. Neil saying, and I don't care what anyone says, The Nun was a good movie. Hallelujah, brother.
Yes,
hallelujah. All right. Okay, so Kill, which one are you going with?
I'm going with Valak on this because she's an asshole. she will play with portraits, and then also just in the opening sequence, which we talked about earlier, when you're telling Lorraine, "Hey, come in here. I want to show you this. I want you to see what I am." You're just announcing it. There's no fear here. The red-faced demon, other than him appearing behind, Patrick Wilson, he's in his dimension, listening to Tiny Tim chilling out, sharpening his nails. Valak is like, yo, I am about to smoke. I am here. Let's do this.
Valak has no time for manicures.
No time for manicures. That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking. All right. So, Coriander, how about you?
I am definitely going to go with The Nun. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For me, again, this one is interesting because I think both of these characters had some really, really cool moments, as we've mentioned throughout this whole stream. So there's no doubt that you could kind of go either way, but I got to also go with Valak. I think that, again, just everything that was going on with the character, how she was shown, and just the intensity. And of course, like you said, Kill, it's a nun. I mean, the way they did it is it's scary on multiple levels. You know what I'm saying? And although I wasn't the biggest fan of some of the prequels, Darth Maul, no, I'm just joking. No, Red-Faced Demon was great too. That's a shout out to the Star Wars fans. But I gotta go with Valak on this one. Okay, here we go, guys. Our last category. So for you guys in the chat, if you're keeping score, definitely get yourselves prepared. Okay, next up, simply, we got to choose. Which movie are you giving the point to, Eric? One or the other?
Like, as in, which do we prefer as a whole? Or
which movie? Yeah, however you want to word it. Which movie do you think is the better movie, or which one is your favorite, or however you want to word it?
Of the two, I'll just say I enjoyed The Conjuring 2 more than I enjoyed Insidious. Loved them both. Okay. This was like the second time I've watched both of them, and it's been a while since I've seen them both. I enjoyed The Conjuring 2 more.
Okay. Kill, how about you?
Loved them both, but because of just the sheer nightmare fuel of the nun and how she looks, I'm going with Conjuring 2.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
What's the question again?
Which movie would you choose over the other?
Oh, I'm going to go with The Real Life Man.
All right. Okay. For me, this is really tough, man, because I truly think that both of these movies do a lot of really good stuff. You know what I mean? Some things are very creative, some things are very intense. You've got good actors on both sides of the field. So this, to me anyways, is probably one of the tougher categories because I truly do love both of these films. And that's why I knew this matchup would be challenging. But if I have to pick one over the other, and man, I'm just thinking about it right now, it's like really, really challenging. I'm going to go with The Conjuring. And the only reason I'm going to go with it is just because I think, following Ed and Lorraine in their journey, whether it's true or not, it's just compelling. And it's just something like it's a ride that you want to be on and follow them, from their own investigations, their own nightmares and visions, and then heading all the way over to London to help this family out, and then trying to debunk things and so forth. So I got to go with The Conjuring 2 on this one, just barely. Okay, so that was our last category. For you guys in the chat, definitely continue to let us know what you think of these categories as we get ready to tally up the score. If you want to vote for one of these movies, if you want to send in the super chat, those dollar amounts will go to points. So you have a chance to do that now. Don't wait. What was that one live stream we had where the super chats were still coming in after we'd already tallied the points? So don't wait. Now's the time to do it. So Neil saying, seriously, don't make me pick between these two. Y'all ain't right. I know, right? It's really, really challenging. Okay, so while I tally these up, let's get final thoughts from each of you guys, and then we'll see who's the winner.
I was super excited about tonight because, like I said before, I'm a huge James Wan fan. Not just these two. Saw, I've said it before, Death Sentence. No one talks about Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon and John Goodman. That's a really good action movie. And no one also talks about Dead Silence. That creepy one. James Wan loves his creepy dolls with the ventriloquist dummies. But then he also does Fast and the Furious. He did Aquaman. You know what I mean? This guy has range. But like I said, I've always loved it when he can do so much with so little. He knows how to use the camera. He knows how to affect your senses. And it's not overload, the beginning of Rob Zombie's Halloween or the dinner scene in Texas Chainsaw. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. He's got a style, and I just absolutely love it. And he came out of nowhere, and I think he's not there yet, but he's going to be one of those masters of horror, say like in 10 years, if he sticks with the genre.
I think both of these movies are modern masterpieces. And you can see what he was able to do with Insidious, with that budget, and that one, being an older film in comparison to The Nun 2. But his craft that he puts in there, the cinematography in there, the jump scares, the special effects, the story, and the way the story is crafted, and then of course the way he directs the actors and the children, it's all masterful. And both of these movies are great, and having these two go against each other, just like Neil is feeling tortured, we feel tortured too, because we love both of these movies.
Yep.
And they're both so very good. I just think Valak is scarier. Coriander, what you got?
Well said, dude.
What are you guys comparing?
Just final thoughts.
What? Oh, okay. Well, it sounded like you all were,
Don't worry, Nate. Just keep counting. It's okay.
Exactly. Don't worry about me. These were like difficult movies to do, honestly. I think out of all of them, this was like probably one of the hardest ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just glad. I always say I'm glad it's over, and there you go. Who won, Night?
She means that in a good way, sir.
Wow, you just throwing it in there, man. Let's ease into this, man. Let's ease into this. Okay, all right. So real quick, and Neil saying, I'm not feeling tortured other than thinking I have to work tomorrow. Kill. Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean, man. It's
you
crazy.
and me both, brother.
Yeah, same here.
Me. Me too. In
I'm
just
on
a few minutes. All right.
vacation.
So,
I'm on. Oops.
all right.
Go ahead.
Can I? All right. So listen, this was so close, guys. I am not kidding you. There is a 2-point difference.
Oh wow.
Nice.
2-point difference.
That includes the
Now,
super chats.
let me just let me get to that.
Okay.
We've got there's okay. So let me just throw up our point total alone. Okay. So we've got a score of 35 to 37.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. The winner is Insidious. That is our winner. And then
the winner.
Well, I'm trying to get to it. Let me get to it. Hold on.
Okay.
Because that's just our point total. You know, what we had listed through category to category. And we did have super chats thrown in. So obviously, if you guys are keeping track of all of that, it made it basically a 3-point difference. And the winner with the civilian vote involved is Insidious. So Insidious wins.
Okay, both ways.
No paying off the referee. Here we go.
Only in America.
Man. With the
Conjuring thought it was going to do it 2 weeks in a row.
I thought it was too. I really did.
You know, well, I knew
surprised.
this was going to be challenging, but even with the super chats involved, it was a score of 59 to 62. I think that might be one of the closest calls we've had based upon our point total plus with super chats involved. It was really close, man. It's crazy. Neil saying the cats have retracted their claws. Y'all are safe. Thank
goodness.
Oh my God. That was awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, this was fun, man. This was a good one. And I know you guys, and sometimes I think to myself, I might make this part of the graphics is to actually show some of the points. But we were going back and forth literally from category to category. There were multiple categories where we all voted from one movie, and then we like flip-flop on the next one. So to me, and we knew it would be a good matchup, but it truly shows it in how we decided to give points out. So this one was a great one. I can't wait. Can't wait for the next battle. This is crazy stuff, man. Very, very cool. All right. So for you guys in the chat, and yes, Darth Maul finally won, Danielle. That's right. That's right. For you guys in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate the support and everything. And we will be back next week on Tuesday night for our next episode of Battleworld. So it will be on Tuesday nights. And hope you guys can join us. As always, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. Also, leave us some comments. You guys had a lot of great comments, some of which we couldn't get to, but definitely leave those in the comment section. Let us know what you think about these two movies because they are truly neck and neck. Sir, thank you for being here, saying great show. We appreciate that. We definitely try to put our best foot forward. It's a lot of preparation to do these streams. So thank you so much. We try to put our best foot forward. So we will catch you guys next time. As always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace out and look out for red-faced demons and nuns that are really creepy looking. Good night.
Cheers.
Up church.